From Lemons to Lemonade, Maurice Houston Rollins. Maurice Rollins was born on a wooden kitchen table in Tweed on May 25, 1927. Harry and Maud Houston Rollins kept a baby book tied together with string, all purchased from Mrs. F.M. Mahar, Fancy Goods and Children's Wear, at 209 Front Street in Belleville, located right across the street from the building currently home to Rollins Investments. Maud, Harry, Maurice, and baby brother John moved to Belleville in 1928, where Maurice attended Queen Alexandra School and BCI. During the Depression, it was hard to make a buck, but that didn't stop Maurice from trying. At the age of 11, this ambitious young entrepreneur was selling lemonade to the circus performers hanging around the Alamite Park. Clyde Beatty had brought the Ringling Brothers Circus to town, and Maurice saw an opportunity to hustle a buck. He set up a stand along the parade route, put out a pitcher of lemonade, added some cups, and had a front row view of the bearded lady and the circus acts. When he was about 12 or 13, he and his good friend Johnny Miller trapped muskrats in the bay and sold the skins to a furrier on Campbell Street for 50 cents each. Once, after a wicked storm, they discovered logs washed up on the shore and bartered them to Maurice's uncle at Houston Lumber. They also hauled junk from a friend's parents' garage to Ben Safe's junkyard on Station Street near Trudeau Motors, earning 25 cents a load. They even rented the Orange Lodge above Latimer's Drugs on Front Street to host a big New Year's Eve dance for their high school friends. They threw in a rented Nickelodeon and food their mums made and sold tickets for $5 a couple. Miller remembers, "The dance was great, but our overhead almost exceeded our income." Maurice got his first construction gig with his friend Roddy Lyle when he was 13 years old. From 5 p.m. till 8 p.m., their job was to flight cars on Highway 28 north of Port Hope, keeping them off the freshly sealed road. The rest of his teenage years were spent painting railway cars CNR red. After graduating from high school at the top of his class, he took the money saved from these part-time jobs and bought a chinchilla farm for $1,200. He built cages in his parents' basement using lumber from Houston's Lumber, where his dad worked, and the chinchilla business was off and running. Misfortune fell on the venture when it was discovered that Maurice had been sold a bill of goods. The chinchillas were an inferior breed and had a yellowish tinge to their fur, instead of the beautiful silver gray color he thought he had bought. The vet who sold him the business got in trouble with the law. His operation was shut down, and Maurice lost $2,500 of his hard-earned money. It was a lesson he never forgot. His studies in pharmacy at the University of Toronto lasted one day. He did not like big city life, and long bouts of depression had started. Back home, he found a job as a laborer, wheeling cement at a housing project. The foreman hired him to assist with the survey work. Eventually, he became a sewer and water inspector. He began working for McFarland's Construction and got the job in the building department, laying out construction projects. The 1950s was a great time to build houses, and he did, starting with his own in 1951. He built 3 more in 1953 and 3 more in 1954, all on his own time, after putting in 50 hours a week shift at McFarland's. In May of 1955, at the age of 28, he quit McFarland's and went out on his own. Rollins Construction was launched and later renamed Maurice H. Rollins Construction Limited. When unable to buy lumber and other materials fast enough to keep pace with demand, he opened a self-help home division called Rollins Lumber. In 1957, a partnership was formed with Charlie Lambert, and together, as Lambert Rollins, they built 360 houses in 3 years. Their partnership ended in 1960. By 1980, Maurice had constructed more than 8,500 housing units. Rollins Real Estate sold the lots. Rollins Construction constructed and sold the homes. Rollins Mobile Sales sold mobile homes. Rollins Mobile Sales Park leased the land to put the mobile homes on. Rollins Water Treatment Tank Sales and Rentals provided water tanks for Rollins homes. Rollins Lumber Limited supplied material to the Rollins Lumber Factory in Foxborough, which produced ready-made doors, windows, and trusses. Last but not least, Rollicare Property Management managed the properties built by Rollins Construction. In 1976, he bought an old coal dock on the wharf in an industrial area of Belleville Harbor with the dream of building a luxury high-rise condo, shaped in a curved design where every unit would have a panoramic view of the bay. It took many years and a lot of hard work, but his beautiful dream became a reality, and the Anchorage stands tall and proud on the beautiful Bay of Quinte. Maurice had been considering building a no-frills and low-cost motel to attract traveling business people off the highway. He made it happen, and in 1978, the first Journey's End opened on North Park Street in Belleville, followed by a second one in Kingston and a third one in Peterborough. He had initially planned to call it Days Inn after a hotel chain in the U.S., but quickly changed his mind under the threat of a lawsuit. Journey's Inn grew from one motel in Belleville, Ontario to over 100, and in 10 years became the largest chain of motels in Canada. In later years, he shifted his interest to building retirement homes, and in true Maurice Rollins fashion, he visited the properties regularly. He even participated in the birthday parties. Whenever someone had a birthday party at one of Maurice's 2 retirement homes, they got a phone call from the boss himself. He explained to a city TV reporter, "This is their birthday, and I'm the owner of the place. I think somebody should congratulate them." In whole or in part, this self-made millionaire owned more than 80 businesses. He built over 75 subdivisions, 2,271 apartments, and 1,839 townhome units for a total of over 4,000 living units, not including single-family homes. Underneath the tailored suit and steely exterior was a man who started it all with a lemonade stand and a dream, a man who overcame every obstacle. When this writer began a brand new career in real estate, Maurice was the first professional I called for advice on kick-starting my career. He invited me to join him for lunch at the Cozy Grill, and I remember his words that day. "If you think selling houses is tough, try building a subdivision." When I started to scribble down his ideas about how to start my business, he put a hand over mine and said, "Stop writing and just listen. You're getting some good advice here, young lady, so pay attention." Indeed, I was. I learned so much about real estate, negotiating, and business practices from this amazing guy. But the biggest life lesson I learned from Maurice was to always listen first and ask questions later. His generosity, community support, and kindness are legendary. His was a life well respected and well lived.